This morning, urgent contact tracing underway in 2 states after new COVID cases broke Australia's run of no local transmission. Tens of thousands preparing to rally at Parliament House and across Australia, demanding action to end violence against women. And the Grammys get underway with Beyonce and Taylor Swift expected to shine.
This is 7 News with Ann Sanders.
Good morning. Urgent investigations are underway in Sydney and Brisbane after local cases of COVID-19 emerged over the weekend. Samantha Brett is in Sydney. Sam, good morning to you. A hotel security guard tested positive even though he had already had his first vaccine shot.
Yes, Anne, good morning. This is a 47-year-old security guard who worked at 2 quarantine hotels in the CBD. This ended our run here in New South Wales of 55 straight days of no new cases in the community. Now, genomic sequencing was carried out over the weekend. Those results came in overnight. We now understand that this security guard has caught the UK variant of the virus, and he caught it from a return traveller at the Sofitel Wentworth Hotel. That person was staying on floor 11. Here's what some of the New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian had to say a short time ago.
And it validates our position of making sure we vaccinate all of our hotel quarantine workers first and foremost to minimise the risk. We always know it's a risk of the virus seeping out. Pleasingly to date, there is no evidence of widespread transmission.
The security guard was out and about in the community over the past week or so and attended a number of venues. They are on high alert today, so that includes Pancakes on the Rocks, where I'm this morning here in Beverly Hills from Saturday morning. Anyone who is here, they are being urged to self-isolate for 14 days and to get tested. Also on that list of high alert venues includes the Bexley Aquatic Centre, the Daejung Kum restaurant in Haymarket on Saturday, 7-Eleven at Haymarket, the Hudson's Coffee Shop at Hurstville from Monday to Friday every morning, and the T4 train line from Hurstville to Central on Friday morning and on Saturday. So at the moment, investigations are still underway as to exactly how the security guard caught the virus, but we have heard that his whole family has been tested. They've all returned negative results, Anne.
Sam Brett with the very latest from Sydney. Thank you, Sam. And an urgent investigation continues in Brisbane after confirmation this morning that the UK variant of the COVID-19 virus spread from one hotel quarantine guest to another. Marlena Watt joins us. Good morning, Marlena. The Hotel Grand Chancellor remains in lockdown.
Yes, good morning, Anne. Queensland Health says genomic sequencing has confirmed that the virus has spread on floor 1 of the hotel. Now, one of those 2 travellers then went on to infect the doctor at the Princess Alexandra Hospital. Queensland Health is still trying to figure out how the transmission occurred in the hotel. They will be interviewing staff. Staff have also been tested. There's also concern for 106 travellers who were staying on floor 1. They finished their quarantine and they've since been released. So anyone who was staying on floor 1 of the hotel between the 5th and the 9th of March has been asked to get tested and isolate. The hotel is still in lockdown. It won't be accepting any new arrivals or releasing anyone currently in quarantine, at least for the next 48 hours.
We know that some people are highly infectious, and that is likely the case in this instance, and can transmit the virus through very little exposure. So there's a lot of work undergoing. We now have CCTV footage in that hotel that'll be reviewed. We'll interview various people and try and understand how the transmission event occurred.
All hospitals, aged care homes and prisons across Greater Brisbane remain in lockdown. More than 270 contacts have been traced to the doctors. So far, more than 80 have returned negative results. Anne?
Thank you very much, Marlena. Marlena Watt reporting. Victoria is weighing up whether to instigate new restrictions after those latest COVID cases. Meanwhile, the state government is under pressure to increase crowd sizes at Melbourne stadiums before the AFL season opener this Thursday. Nick McCallum has more.
With the AFL season opener just 3 days away, pressure is mounting to increase the size of the crowd at the MCG. At Melbourne Airport for the renewal of Virgin's AFL contract, the captains for Thursday's traditional season opener between Richmond and Carlton are thrilled at the prospect of a bumper crowd.
As long as there's safety measures in place and everyone feels safe to attend and support and cheer loud like they normally do, I think the more the merrier. A new year brings new optimism, and the crowds on top of that is just another reason to get excited.
Last year's opening game was played in an empty MCG. At this stage, Thursday's game will have 50% capacity, so a crowd of 50,000. Victoria has had 17 days straight of no community transmission. So Hawthorn President and former Premier Jeff Kennett now wants an increase on Thursday to a 100,000 crowd. Business groups have called for 75,000.
The best advice at 11 this morning is we'll stay at 50%, and with pretty strong optimism will improve for rounds 2 and 3, but I'll know more at lunchtime.
The final call comes down to the state government. It says it's acting on health advice, and at this stage it will not change. The game will have a 50% capacity.
Thanks very much, Nick. The Prime Minister is under mounting pressure to attend a mass protest outside Parliament House, demanding better treatment of women. It's one of nearly 40 events about to take place around the country. Live 2 political reporter Olivia Leeming. Good morning, Olivia. Any sign of Scott Morrison this morning?
No, Anne, he is refusing to attend, while organisers here have rejected the Prime Minister's offer for a private meeting. Thousands of women are expected to arrive here within the next half an hour, including at least 3 female coalition members. The protest fuelled by sexual assault allegations from former staffer Brittany Higgins and separate rape allegations against the Attorney General, Christian Porter. Protesters are calling for a code of conduct and sexual harassment training for all MPs. Deputy Prime Minister Michael McCormack says his schedule is too full to attend, and he was confronted by an organiser this morning.
I would really have liked you to have come out to listen to the voices of the women of Australia, because we have a lot to say. And
I'll see what I can do for you. I'm not making any promises, but I'll see what I can do.
I would very much appreciate it.
Opposition leader Anthony Albanese has been grilled about serious allegations facing the Labor Party. Claims of sexual assault were posted on a private Facebook group by Labor staff. Mr Albanese concedes he's aware of a sexual harassment allegation made last year by a woman who wanted her privacy protected.
She certainly was satisfied with the way that it was dealt with. It was dealt with very directly.
So this is an issue engulfing both sides of politics, and the Attorney General still determined to clear his name, with confirmation this morning that he has now launched defamation action against the ABC. Anne?
Olivia Leeming live in Canberra. Thank you, Olivia. Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews has been discharged from hospital after being treated for a nasty fall. The Premier broke a number of ribs and injured his spine when he slipped on wet steps last week. The Alfred Hospital's director says Mr Andrews will continue his recovery at home, and there's a good chance he may not need surgery. On the weekend, the Premier released a photo of himself in a back brace. The biggest names in the music industry have gathered in Los Angeles for the Grammy Awards. Our US correspondent David Woywood joins us. Hi there, David. The first performances have already begun.
Good morning, Anne. Yes, it's all kicked off with a bang. Former One Direction star Harry Styles has launched the party with a live performance, and he is headlining this huge contingent of big-name performers tonight. Grammy organisers very keen to make this look and feel like a live event and not like other virtual awards shows we've seen in recent months. Now, Beyonce, the most nominated artist here, 9 nods. She was among the early winners today, with Megan Thee Stallion for Best Rap Performance. Beyonce's daughter, Blue Ivy, also scoring a win. Lady Gaga, Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber also picking up early gongs. But look, the big battle tonight will be between Taylor Swift and Dua Lipa, both up in 6 categories, including Song of the Year and Album of the Year. Host Trevor Noah introducing the new look ceremony moments ago.
Tonight, we're hoping But this is all about what 2021 can be, you know, full of joy, new beginnings, and coming together. Never forgetting what happened in 2020, but full of hope for what is to come.
Now, tonight's ceremony, it will not be without controversy. We have the Canadian superstar The Weeknd. He's actually boycotting tonight's ceremony after he received 0 nominations, Anne.
All right, David, thank you very much. David Woolwood in LA. Next in 7 News, Meghan hits back over bullying claims as the palace launches an independent investigation. And hundreds protest the actions of police in London who moved mourners away from a vigil to murder victim Sarah Everard. A woman has been stabbed in the stomach during a robbery in Western Sydney. The 48-year-old was walking in Mount Druitt yesterday evening when a man tried to steal her bag. When she resisted, she was stabbed. The victim was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. There's apparently more ill feeling between Harry and Meghan and Buckingham Palace this morning, with an external law firm hired to investigate bullying claims against the Duchess of Sussex. Meghan says she wants to see proof to back up the allegations. Amy Parks has more.
Yes, in a clear indication that the Duchess of Sussex intends to fight back, her office has written to Buckingham Palace to formally request any documents, including emails and phone messages, pertaining to those bullying claims. Now, those claims made by a senior palace aide suggest that Meghan behaved unacceptably towards 2 staffers and undermined the confidence of a third. Now, while the Sussexes have not been requested to partake formally in that independent inquiry, this certainly looks as though they are preparing to launch their own, and we can only imagine what that will do for the tension between Meghan and Harry and the rest of the royal family. It's understood Harry may have spoken to his grandmother, the Queen, in the week since that controversial Oprah interview went to air. However, Prince William said last week he was yet to speak to his brother, but that he intended to. And it is reported that the brothers remain committed to coming together in July for the unveiling of a statue in their late mother's honour.
Hundreds of people have marched through central London in protest over the police handling of a vigil for murder victim Sarah Everard. The protesters gathered outside Scotland Yard to voice their anger over police moving in to disperse mourners who'd come to pay their respects. Several women were arrested.
Officers on the ground were faced with a very difficult decision. Hundreds of people were tightly packed together, posing a very real risk of easily transmitting COVID-19.
33-year-old Sarah Everard disappeared while walking home in central London. A police officer has been charged with her murder. Australia's share market is expected to rise today following a strong lead at the end of last week from Wall Street. Let's bring in Network Finance Editor Gemma Acton. Good morning, Gemma. What's the latest this morning?
Morning, Anne. Well, the market did rise briefly, but it sunk back into the red, weighed down once again by technology shares, which have been struggling for the past month. Afterpay has lost around 4% so far today, while Fortescue Metals is down by around the same, following a pledge from founder Twiggy Forrest that the mining giant will aim to be carbon neutral by 2030. That's 2 decades earlier than major rivals Rio Tinto and BHP. Today's market falls come despite reassurance from Reserve Bank Governor Philip Lowe that although the economic recovery has been swifter and stronger than anticipated, a near-term interest rate hike is not yet on the horizon. Once again, Governor Lowe has pointed to a too high jobless rate and too weak wages growth as signs the economy still has a long way to go. Meantime, the Aussie dollar is bumping along at around 77.6 US cents. Anne.
Gemma Acton reporting. Thanks a lot, Gemma. Next in 7 News, we'll have sport with Andrew McCormack, including the AFL set to make a call on a major new rule change. Also, an 8-year-long drought broken as the Sharks get their NRL season off to a winning start.
Good morning. For the first time in 8 years, the Sharks have claimed victory in the opening round of the NRL season. Cronulla were on song from the kick-off, racing out to an early 12-0 lead against the Dragons. Sharks centre Jesse Ramian was binned for a high hit on Matt Duffy as tempers boiled over. The Red V threatened to fight back, but Cronulla held them off to win 32-18.
I think it's a good reward for a lot of hard effort that's gone in over the pre-season. When you put in that sort of work, often you get rewarded.
Meanwhile, the Roosters are reportedly worried Jake Frand may have played his last game after being knocked out against Manly. The AFL will announce this afternoon whether or not they'll introduce a concussion sub for the upcoming season. Coaches only discussed the option in the past week, with the final call to be made from the league's football boss, Steve Hocking.
We've shown we can be agile and flexible, and he's having a discussion about that, and if it makes sense, he'll do it.
There's some depth to how it would work and play out, but it's important that, one, we protect the players.
Meanwhile, Saints forward Max King has been ruled out of their season opener with concussion after, can you believe it, being struck by a golf ball on the golf course a couple of days ago. Unbelievable. Western United is back in form after beating Brisbane Roar 1-0. Former Italian international Alessandro Diamanti showed his class, setting up the only goal of the clash. United coach Mark Rudan overshadowed the win, getting into a heated stoush with the fourth official.
You're trying to turn around, so I question you, tell me to shut up. And I'll be saying it, for the microphone to hear.
Rudan was given a yellow card as United moved up to 8th on the ladder, behind the Roar in 7th. There was nothing regular about the opening goal in the North London derby.
Through a crowd of legs and in, and Tottenham against the run of play, strike first.
Eric Lamella's incredible goal gave Tottenham the lead, but the Argentine was later sent off as Arsenal came from behind to win 2-1. Manchester United boosted their top four hopes, beating West Ham 1-0. And Matilda's captain Sam Kerr put on a show in the Women's League Cup final, netting a hat-trick in Chelsea's 6-0 win over Bristol City. The Perth Wildcats have won the NBL Cup after pulling off the season's biggest comeback against the Adelaide 36ers. Trailing by as much as 26 points in the opening half, the reigning champions turned it around after the break.
Perth have got 19 unanswered points and they're back to within 4.
Perth outscored Adelaide by 30 points in the second half to win 97 points to 88. Bryson DeChambeau's driver finally let him down in the final round of the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass. Lee Westwood couldn't make the most of his two-stroke lead heading into the final day. He finished 13 under, a shot behind Justin Thomas, who stormed home with a final round 68. The American was overcome with emotion when asked about his grandfather, who tragically died last month.
I wish I could talk to him, but I know he's watching.
The win is worth $3.5 million. And after the final World Cup round was called off due to bad weather, Matt Graham won the mogul skiing Crystal Globe for finishing the season on top of the standings.
I'm very, very excited and very happy to have earned this. You know, it's one of those things I've always wanted.
He's the first Australian since Dale Begg-Smith in 2010 to win. That's all for sport. And there's unlucky, and then there's getting hit by a golf ball by your mate on a golf course to miss the opening round of the AFL season. But 3 sleeps to go.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Next in 7's Morning News, we'll have the national weather forecast with Tony Auden. Drone video is shedding new light on the habits of fin whales off the coast of Spain. The giant creatures return to the same spot year after year to feed on krill. Fin whales can reach more than 23 metres in length. Let's check the weather forecast now with Tony Auden. Good morning, Tony. How's it all looking today?
Good morning, Anne. Not much in the way of severe weather around the traps today, but we are coming into another wet period for large parts of the nation. Here is the forecast over the course of the next week. Looking at the heaviest falls likely along the New South Wales coast, northern New South Wales coast, well over 100 millimetres possible there during the next 7 days. Parts of Western Queensland will also welcome some soaking rain over the next few days, and that also extends up into the top end. Having said that, as we normally see in a La Nina, it is still dry in the west, and a fire weather warning is current for coastal Central West District in WA today. That's these orange shades here. Now, around the nation today, a number of spots posted their coldest morning of the year so far. Not the case in Brisbane, though. It was a gloomy morning, rain increasing there this afternoon. Perth tracking for a mostly sunny top of 32 degrees, and it's dry and mild across southeastern states. Dry tops in the low 20s for Adelaide, Hobart, Melbourne and Sydney. To the satellite, cool air in the southeast is thanks to southwesterly winds pushed in from a high in the bight here. That rain in Queensland linked with a cloud band. Into tomorrow, it will stay over Queensland as winds turn onshore on the New South Wales coast. They'll bring a couple of showers back to Sydney, warming up slightly to a top of 25 degrees. More light rain at times in Brisbane, staying cool on 23 there. Storms on the way for Darwin and Broome. Perth heats up even further, a top of 34, staying dry and mild across those southeastern states. That's the latest weather and more details at 4 and 6.
All right, Tony, thank you very much. And that's 7 News to Now. We'll keep you up to date throughout the day. I'm Ann Sanders. Thanks for your company. Have a lovely day.